You've been under the microscope of fandom before, between Arrow, being involved with the WWE, now this. Your involvement in these projects, you've sort of seen people be hypercritical, skeptical, very much going in, waiting to be proven otherwise for their sort of negative preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Will they be fine with the way Casey Jones is portrayed in this movie?
Well, I mean, I guess that depends on when you make your decision, right? If you made your decision based off of the casting news, then I could pull a Christian Bale in Batman and no one's gonna care, right? They're gonna just be like, no, it's Elias Koteas, or it should have been insert actor X, and that's totally fine, because, I mean, I don't know why you would want to live your life that way, much less go see movies that way. But, you know, it's a weird spot with where I am with the fandom right now, because I've been there both with Arrow and with WWE, where people haven't seen what you're going to do yet, and so as fans, they're kind of keeping you at arm's length a little bit. Like if I were to go to a Comic-Con right now, if it were 2 days before this movie came out and the posters were everywhere, people are still going to identify me as like Arrow first, the guy that wrestled second, and then Casey Jones third. And again, that's cool, you know? I had a chance with this character to have an origin story that's unique to this iteration, and I feel like that puts me on a path that once people see the movie will make sense. Because when the first time they saw the character, they're like, why the short hair? Why the short hair? It will make more sense once you watch Act 1.
Well, with that, because you bring it up that it is sort of a fresh take on the character in a number of ways, do you not even bother looking at any previous iterations of Casey Jones? Do you not look at the comics or the animated series or anything and just go based off of, this is the way the script is sort of laid out, this is the vision they have for this character, let's do something totally different with it and sort of let it stand on its own?
You were 100% right until you said totally different. It doesn't have to be totally different, but you're right in the sense that when I when I get cast in this, it's not like I go, okay, where are the Casey Jones comics? Let's bring up the live action films. Let's go do a deep dive on the cartoons. Let's canvas fans and talk about their favorite version of it, because then inevitably, at least as it pertains to my process, you're going to be doing an imitation, right? Whereas if you trust the writers, the director, the producers, all the people that are shepherding this project, and then one of the nice things that they did for me, and I don't actually think that they did it on purpose, but nonetheless, this is how it happened. One of the first scenes, if not the first scene, at least with dialogue, that I film in the movie, pardon me, is when Casey meets the Turtles for the first time, which also coincides with when he meets April O'Neil for the first time. And of course, how Casey Jones would react to seeing 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles informed a lot of what I then did with the character going forward.
So it's sort of an introduction for everyone, for the Turtles, for April, for the audience.
For the audience, and for me as actually, it's less for the audience. It's actually more for me as we're filming it, right? Because it's not as though I can imagine what it's going to be like talking to 4 dudes in CGI suits where I have to look 3 feet above their head to pretend this is their eyes, or working with Megan Fox, who's someone that I've admired for a great deal of time and seen on screen before. I can never imagine what that moment is going to be like until I'm in it. So for that to be my first scene, and for it to be my introduction to living and working in New York City on a big budget Hollywood feature, which is the first time I've ever done it, was incredibly helpful.
Let me ask you one quick question about the action figure battle. You have a kid. I'm sure they have, or they will be getting at some point, the Arrow action figure.
Yeah.
Now you'll have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Casey Jones action figure.
Yeah.
Who wins that battle? Do you have a rooting interest?
I get that question on like who would win in a fight, Oliver Queen or Casey Jones, but I've never gotten the action figure fight.
The action figure is much more important because all bets are off. It's all imagination.
I feel like in real life, Casey's gonna have a tough time with Oliver because Oliver's been doing it for longer. But when it comes to the action figure, they always sort of made that action figure a little bit odd with the bow because it sort of just falls off and doesn't really do anything. So I think Casey might have an upper hand in the action figure battle.
All right.
Plus, he can just he's wearing the mask. He can just headbutt him.
Well, there you go.
There it
It's
is.
a cheap shot, but whatever wins.
It's fine by me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, dude.